They want Francis Ngannou to box again in Saudi Arabia for December 23rd, which is originally supposed to be the date of Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. But now that it looks like Fury and Usyk is going to be delayed, it's going to be pushed back, they're saying February, and Ngannou is taking their spot. This guy is literally taking everything away from these boxers, casting that shadow on top of the sport that I talked about before, as he is right now. I mean, there are even some polls out. He's right now the most talked about boxer in the world at the moment. An MMA fighter taking both the heavyweight champions' date. And the opponents have also been revealed as well. You guys may have heard the date that they want Ngannou to fight in December, but you probably did not hear the opponents. According to Boxing News, which is the oldest fight magazine, Zhilei Zhang and Joseph Parker are the two preferred opponents for Ngannou to fight before Christmas. You guys are probably saying, who? They're both top contenders in the heavyweight division, but it looks like they're being serious about Ngannou's prospect. For those who don't know, Joseph Parker actually fought on that same night as Fury and Ngannou, and he got a third round knockout. Right now he holds the IBF and WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight titles. He fights out of New Zealand and he has wins over Andy Ruiz as well as 2 wins over Derek Chisora. But he did lose to Anthony Joshua and Dillian White and Joe Joyce. I'm gonna be honest here, I don't know if Ngannou should take it. It's up to Ngannou at this point to take this date and take those opponents. He's already said that he wants the rematch with Tyson Fury, and that is the one he wants to wait out for the most. He'd even like it if Fury does not fight Usyk and instead rematches Ngannou. So maybe he's looking for the big money fight there, but regardless, Ngannou is going to get paid a lot, whether he's fighting Zhang, whether he's fighting Parker, or he fights Fury. There's even rumblings that he could fight Deontay Wilder in MMA. Any of these fights, Ngannou is going to get paid regardless. But the biggest bang for the buck is a rematch with Tyson Fury, and I know that's the one he wants the most competitively, as he believes, and most people believe, that he defeated Tyson Fury on that night. Very close fight, of course, but that's what most people believe right now. And it just goes to show you that if Saudi Arabia wants Francis Ngannou back, it tells you how successful he was in bringing a big show to that arena for them. I don't know if it's going to be in the same arena. That would be actually pretty sick. And Ngannou keeps winning there. It'd be like, this is his place. He owns that arena in a sense. He comes out with the crown. He comes out with the cool entrance and everything like that. Hopefully they don't do the same kind of musical performances. They don't do all the delays. Have the fights faster than before. For people that don't know, the Saudi Arabia show is not your regular kind of show. That was not like what usual boxing events are going to be like. They're like their own entity. They run their own kind of show. I just hope they do tone it back a bit, because I think that would be so much better for the fans to watch and so much better for the fighters who don't have to wait so long to compete. Do I think he beat Zhang or Parker? Maybe. Parker especially should be an interesting fight for Ngannou, and I think he's a bigger name of the two. But then speaking about MMA, a big question that comes out of this is, if the Saudi promoters want Ngannou back like this, if they like having him for their shows, does this guy ever come back to MMA? Actually, it's not even just the Saudi promoters. When you look at Eddie Hearns, for an example, he wants Ngannou to fight Anthony Joshua so badly. All these promoters are running to Ngannou right now because he is the biggest thing happening in boxing at the moment. They all want him on their shows, and most likely are going to be throwing a lot of money his way. Why would he ever go back to MMA at this point? His dream was always to be a boxing world champion, not an MMA world champion. He even said it himself. He also said that in MMA, he mostly boxed either way. He mostly used his hands. It's an interest of him to stay in boxing, and even the PFL founder, Don Davis, said that right now in MMA, his potential opponents are not as interesting. And he even said the only guy that's interesting in MMA for Ngannou at the moment is John Jones, who's not even with the PFL. He does believe that Ngannou will fight in MMA in 2024, but will that be his next one? He's not too sure about it. And he says that he supports Ngannou regardless, whatever path he wants to take. The only other opponent that could be somewhat interesting for Francis Ngannou is if Deontay Wilder makes that transition like they're saying he is going to. Is it interesting because it's competitive? No, I don't think so. It's just another name that people will tune in for. At this point, Ngannou is going to be drawing in fights with big names. Even him fighting contenders in boxing is a bit interesting, because was it just a one-off? That's the question that's going to be brought up now. Was that performance against Tyson Fury just a one-time thing and never happens again? We'll have to see. What if he goes up against other boxing contenders? Does he have a similar kind of success? And we know the guys over there in Saudi are definitely going to pay him a lot of money, man. They're going to be throwing a lot of money his way just to compete at their shows, and he's going to be another headliner. I'm so happy for Francis Ngannou because a year ago, he did not have these kind of options, right? He didn't have all this pull. And the more success he has in combat sports, the more strings he's able to pull and the more big shows he's going to be a part of. And every single time, I don't even know the guy like that, but I feel so happy for him. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing to see a fighter actually beat the system in combat sports.